couple of minutes late starting the meeting, so welcome to tonight's meeting. To receive and accept apologies for absence. Do we have any, please?
And Tony Bridges.
To note declaration of members' personal, prejudicial and disclosable pecuniary interests in respective items on the agenda. Do we have any? Minutes. To confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 9th of the 9th are a true and accurate record. I wasn't here, so I don't know. Yeah? Okay, thank you. I'll just sign those. Thank you. To receive an update on items from the previous meeting, if not agenda items for this meeting. Do we have anything, Jane?
What's in your pack? Michelle has been looking at drone quotes. I think she's had one response to that so far. So that's something we're still working on. And the other is relating to planning application, which I think we're still waiting for the formal application to come in, I believe.
What's that one?
64 High Street, change of use. We have had correspondence from the applicant because I think the council commented at the last meeting that it was not totally happy with the change of use, perhaps, and losing a shop on the High Street. I think that was the general feeling last time, but I wasn't at the meeting. Berwick's.
Oh. Stan.
So much the losing the shop off the high street. It was seeking clarity as to whether the shop would still remain and the living accommodation would be extended, and I think the council remitted it for further information.
Yeah.
I think it's asking if we would like him to attend a meeting. Whoever's put the application in.
Does council want him to come in? To be brutally honest, what we say is only a token gesture to Breckland on their decision anyway. So is it worth his time and ours? I feel bad if we don't, but equally, maybe he could explain it in an email to us.
Yeah, I think it's fair, give the person their say, and it's democratic, they can voice it, and then equally if any other members of the town have got any concerns, they can come in and speak on that as well. We can send it to Breckland.
So how do we want to do that? Do we want to invite him in then? Happy to do that? Jane, when it comes up on the agenda next, perhaps it would be an idea to ask him then if he would like to come in and speak on it. He could do that at the public participation bit in. Yeah, okay, cool. Anything else? No? To receive reports. You've all read mine, I guess. Any questions? Vice Chairman's report. You read that as well? District Council's report. Did you read that? County Council's report. Did you read that? You didn't. Clerk's report.
What's in your pack? We have had correspondence about Middle Street, but it was purely to say this will be going out, the consultation. Whether it's gone out to anybody, I don't know. I haven't seen anything more than that at this stage.
I haven't seen anything Breckland side either.
No, so I think it's just this will be, put out to local businesses, I think, but I'm not sure when.
And the concern with that is that they reiterated on that email that there isn't any money for it, but they want to formulate the plan for it, but they will then use that plan to go for funding. Thomas.
Thank you, Chair. As this is new information like the rest of you, I haven't heard anything else, but I will say we remain at the top of the priority list for the County Council developers. They are still working on this project. The delays is probably solely due to cost, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. It's definitely still up there. And I did tell the local business that if I received any new information, I would let them know. So if they come back to us with any consultation, I will then go to the business and tell them that we've received it. Thank you.
The only problem with that, Thomas, is LGR, local government reorganisation, that, you know, we need to make sure that's what's holding it back at the moment, and it maybe gets swallowed into the pit when we'll have to wait and see on that one. Yeah, or the money might be coming, yeah.
The other is Norfolk Market Forum. This is from NPTS, which is basically a clerks sort of group in Norfolk, have asked to hold the meeting here. We have agreed to that on proviso that we can attend free. So it will just be clerks and possibly one or two councillors from other market towns meeting here on October the 1st. So it would just be a general chat about markets, I think.
Jay, do you want to mention the
Yeah, the other thing is car park information that I have sent round to you all. Where we go next, I'm not too sure at the moment. I think we still need further information. That wasn't the clearest correspondence, in my opinion. They are asking whether we want to meet again. I think it would be perhaps ideal if best option if Don and I went again as we went to the initial meeting, if people are happy with that, and if Jill's happy with that, of course. But that would keep the continuity, and Don's sort of got good contacts at Breckland, really, I think. So if everybody's happy, we'll say, yes, we would like to meet again. We do want some more clarity, but please take a look at that, and we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting and look at the options and see which way you're thinking we want to go.
Can I suggest that you get that meeting as quickly as possible before the next meeting, so that we've got some meat on the bones to talk about at that next meeting, because time is of the essence, as they've said here, and it's so ambiguous. Have you had a look, Don? Yeah. No, it's a little bit of a minefield, so
we need more information than there, I think, to make any decisions still. The other thing, youth justice, a leaflet Thomas passed to me, and this is the Norfolk Youth Justice team. I've been in touch with them. They're going to come out and see us about whether they could possibly help painting any of the playground equipment, which is something that came up on the playground reports. Whether they can, we wait and see what comes of that meeting, which is end of October time. And the other is communication from the prison. I think Charlotte, who we've been meeting with there, would like to come out and see some of you guys. The project that they were working with us on, I'm not sure how that's progressing, and I think she'd like to come and explain a bit more about that and whether it will carry on and how it will carry on. So if I perhaps get a date when she can visit, it would be a daytime, and see how many of you can.
what project is that?
Well, just working with the prison
Right.
generally. I'm not sure if it was a year project and it's now coming to the end and it will be relaunched. That there could be changes, so I think she just wants to come and tell us about that. So perhaps when you, Jill, whoever was involved, would like to meet, I could get some dates and we'll go.
It'd be good to get a few councillors there if we could, just so that we spread the word.
I did ask if she'd come to a town council meeting, but so she doesn't
that would
work.
be good.
She doesn't work evenings,
Okay.
so, and she lives a long way away,
Right.
so it would be a daytime meeting.
Okay.
But I'll let you know on that one.
Brilliant.
That's all I've got.
Reports from league councillors. Do we have anything? No. To note the works in progress list. Have we all had a look at that? And is there any changes that we need to make? Thomas?
I will organise to meet with the clerk to discuss the one at the top of the list soon.
Be good. I did speak to Keith Gilbert today, who's going to get me some information as well. So I sort of know what we need. It's getting the information together more than anything.
Public participation. We have nobody, so we'll move on to finance. To approve the payments for September 2025. Have we all had a look at those? Don, have you got anything you want to add?
One or two payments have come in since. One is £352.56, which is the annual fire alarm contract to check the fire alarms out. 95.28, which is the fuel card for the vans, and My Hills 149.42, which is the usual bits and pieces. Ground maintenance works.
Are we all happy to accept those? Yeah, do we have a second, a proposer? Yep, Stan, Don. Thank you. All in favour then, yeah? Good. Update and devolution and local government reorganisation. Well, all I can say on it, and don't know if you've had anything else, Jane, is that Breckland actually put their proposal in to central government last week. That was the extraordinary meeting we had at Breckland, and it was decided almost unanimously to go with the 3 unitaries for this area, which will be east, west and central Norwich. And South Norfolk are put in for 2, and Norfolk County Council put in for 1. So we'll just watch this space. We won't hear anything till about March.
From Norfolk ALC, I sent that out on the 18th, I think, so there was quite a bit of information in there. And I know it's training Thursday night with Adrian Myers, who's the county officer for now. So again, whether he'll have anything to tell us then, or whether we have the time to talk about it, I don't know. There's 7 of you signed up for training, I believe. This Thursday, yeah.
Very good. Well, pick his brain if you can. He's going to be 1 unitary biased, obviously, if he's from Nauk, isn't he, or from county, yeah. So you'll be getting that side of it, whichever, but it's good to get all sides to get an overview. I think they have decided to go for more councillors, haven't they, at the moment, 168, which would be if it's 1 unitary, but that's a lot of work for 168 people and quite unmanageable at a council meeting. Stan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we've put on this training for councillors. We've made councillors aware that nobody's too good to not need training. And I do appreciate there will be exceptional circumstances, but less than 50% of council have signed up for this training, which I think is unacceptable. And I don't feel that it makes for a good council. Practices change over the years, legislation changes over the years, and councillors change over the years. So I appreciate those that have put their names forward. I understand when there are those that have serious commitments that's going to prevent it. Now, bear in mind, training's been put on in the evening so that it would accommodate more councillors. So could I ask through you, Chair, that the councillors are given a final opportunity that if they can make themselves available, that they do attend. We're paying for this out of taxpayers' money.
And I can personally say I would love to have come, but I have 1 holiday this year, 3 days in Beatley, Durham. Woo.
So are you
it's
one
been-
I'm having a dig at or one that I understand?
One that you hopefully understand.
I'll let you decide when you're sipping your margarita on deck of HMS.
No, I shall be under the bubbles of a hot tub, with you in thought. But yeah, I'll ask Jane to put out a reminder. Yeah, and it is worth doing. I have to say, it is worth doing. And like Stan says, you can't teach your grandmother to suck eggs. You don't know what you don't know until someone tells you, and it is pretty good. Right, grants. To consider grant application received from Watton Ladies Group. Have we all had a good look at that? And how do we all feel? So,
there's no recognised group. It's just a group of ladies that get together, which I think is fabulous. There's no accounts listed. It's public money that we're giving. I quite agree with giving the Christmas presents, but I would rather we do as we do for the sports centre, and they get the invoice and we pay that, because otherwise we're just giving £300. And I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I think it's a nice idea, but I think because it's public money, we've got to be a little bit more stringent on how that is allocated, rather than just Joe Public, here I have £300, go and spend it.
Thomas.
Thank you. I think you're right. We do need to be equal in how we respond to everyone in the town. I will say I had to have a conversation with Sandra, at the skate park opening, and she sort of mentioned this event. She said lots of disadvantaged older people go to the sports centre and have a little Christmas together, and they all buy each other's presents because it can be quite a depressing time of year. It's really wholesome and special, and I would support this grant application.
Stan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I concur both councillors' comments so far, and I think this is exactly what we should be considering grants for events like this. I think it is laudable, and as Sue rightly says, it's not a formal organisation, but it's an organisation nonetheless. So I want to make the following observations: that firstly, we do support this in the way that Sue has suggested, but because of what it is, should we as the town council look at how we can, maybe not in time for this year, but look at how we can improve in supporting that event for our older and vulnerable on subsequent Christmases? Because when the sorts of sums we get asked for and for the things that money is for gets knocked into a cocktail when you're talking about one event a year that people might be looking forward to for months, and we're just giving them that little moment of escape where they've got company, they've got warmth, and they've got a festive meal. So what I'm saying here, Madam Chair, is please let us support this grant application on the terms that have been recommended by both councillors. But can we perhaps have an agenda item? Sorry, I'll withdraw that. Perhaps we can ask the clerk to mention to the EMO that we could perhaps look at this for future work.
Are you happy, Sue, to propose that with that proviso that they give us an invoice for President's Ball? Okay. Do I have a seconder for that? Thomas? All in favour of giving that grant? Yeah? Unanimous. Thank you. To consider grant application received from 864 Watton Squadron RAF Air Cadets. So, have I said that wrong?
I just feel that I'm being devil's advocate. We do support the cadets quite a lot. What they're asking for is quite a lot of money, where they're just putting a couple of £100 towards it. However, they are on MOD property. There is electricity in their building. Why are MOD not supplying lights for them for pick up and drop off at their gate? Secondly, the road that they're talking about belongs to Bennett's. If we're going to supply temporary lights along there, have they asked Bennett's? Have they asked Carbrook? If we put or pay towards temporary lights there, we're setting yet another precedent that it's not necessary for the rest of that. Where you're going into the estate there are no street lights. So if they start seeing a temporary light up at the far end, are we then going to get requests for street lights or temporary lights all the way down? And I just feel that we're being an easy ask for something. The bikes, we've both been cadets instructors, so it's not that I'm saying anything towards the children. But the first thing they learn is the discipline and how to look after themselves. So bike lights, they should have bike lights on all the time. So I don't see supplying 5 lots of bike lights that they might lend out.
It's a legal requirement.
It is a legal requirement just for, I think it's just for the front. They don't have to have one or back. They have to have both now, do they? Right, so it's a legal requirement anyway. If you've got lights up there, and we can vouch for this, the people that drop off their children go at quite some speed, so therefore they're just going to go faster because they've got more light, they can see what they're doing. So on this occasion, I'm not supporting this. I think they need to, and if you look at their accounts, they've also got 10 grand sat in the bank. So it's very difficult because I don't want to feel that I'm saying no to them, but we have given them a lot of money in the past. They are also, or they have been, issued with over 20 fluorescent jackets. And again, we can vouch for that. There's very few that I've ever seen walking along that road in front of our house wearing their high-vis jackets.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Jack?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I am all for the cadets as an ex-veteran myself, or a veteran, not an ex-veteran, sorry. Exactly. I just feel that this is a lot of money for what could be cheaper alternatives like solar, string lights. You know, there's alternatives down there, and it seems like a lot of branded, tradie related equipment. Yeah, but I mean, these are quite expensive bits of equipment when I feel that you could get more cost-effective like-for-like alternatives on the market. If electric's an issue, if we looked at solar alternatives, you know, I kind of agree that, especially if they've got a lot of reserve funds, this is, you know, there's plenty of other responsibilities, like with Bennett's, as you say, you know, and so forth. And I don't feel that this is one I could support just based on the cost and for what's coming from.
Any other comments? Stan, then Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And again, in full support of what's been said by previous two councillors. And yeah, I did pick up on the brand names, but I thought it's because I have to specify it. We have to take a step back on this and can't emphasise enough, we do support the Air Cadets. But we as a council support the Air Cadets and the Air Cadets support us. But if you look at all the grant applications over just the last 5 years, if you were to make a league table as to who's had the most applications and the most money out of us, guess who comes top? We're looking at an organisation which does a great job with the young people. The parents pay a minimal amount, it's something like £1 an evening for childminded. So where are the parents contributing to this? We are hopefully going to have the support of the cadets at the fireworks this year, and they will get a sizable donation for that. And I think last year was that £500 or £600, Jane? Yeah. So they will get a contribution that's sizable in that time anyway. The issue's been raised that it is a Bennett's problem. Bennett's have closed off and dug up the main route in. For those of you that aren't aware, Sue and I live in the house next door to the Air Cadet Centre, so we see it firsthand. It's a couple hundred yards, but we're there. So we see it firsthand. Bennett's have completely dug up Portal Avenue, and for the last 2 or 3 years, it's been fenced off and it's got building materials on it, so they have to come round a road that is poorly lit, but it's still lit, and then double back. There's now a chicane been put in that's added to over 1/4 mile each way to their journey. Instead of just coming up Portal Avenue, they have to go along to Liddell, in and round that way, which is longer. None of that is street lit once you come off the Norwich Road. But the issues are that Bennett's have got Harris fencing now either side of Elworthy Drive, whereas before it wasn't there, the cadets could walk on the verge. Not now. There's Harris fencing, which stands out an extra foot to 18 inches either side of the road, narrowing the road. If you've got some madman not seeing them in a vehicle, or madwoman, could be any person, not seeing them, driving at them, they haven't got the escape route either side because of the fencing. So that is a Bennett's problem. Bennett's are required by law to provide a thoroughfare, which they've done. That thoroughfare is full of potholes, trip hazards, lumps of concrete, fly tipping. That is not a council problem, and as soon as we start responding to what seems a relatively harmless request for funding to help them resolve a problem, we're creating more problems for everybody, including the council, and lots of people are going to be coming to us with their hands out. So as much as I would love to support the cadets on this, they have got the money. They're going to get some money from us for the fireworks, hopefully. But this is a matter they should either be addressing with the MOD directly or get the MOD to direct to Bennett's. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Thomas, and then Don.
Thank you. Just briefly, they did mention in their application about their stall at the fireworks show as well. If that's something they've had concerns in the past about their stall getting too dark late at night, is that something we should look at when providing stalls at the fireworks show with lights as well?
Would you like to answer that?
At the fireworks show, when we provided them with gazebos, perhaps in the previous years they felt it was too dark, so perhaps we should be looking at ways to light up the gazebos at the show.
Everyone's required to bring their own light in for the fireworks event, but I take your point.
Don?
Just picking up on what Sue said, and you said as well, Stan, about Bennett supplying that thing. Next to my house in Carbrook, 2 new houses were built, and part of the deal on that was that the developers would put solar lights into the car park for the Millennium Green and the Carbrook Village Hall sort of thing. So, you know, that's where they should, in my mind, that's where they should be going. You know, if they can put lights in for 2 houses, then it's how many are they building around there? 82. Well, 92. I will say no more.
So do I have a proposal for refusal then? For refusing it, yeah? Yeah. Okay, and a seconder for turning it down? Jack? All in favour of turning it down? Yeah. Thank you. Right, number 10, to consider financing a biodiversity project. I'm going to say one thing on this, and I know Don wants to move on with something possibly. Is it from you, Don? The diversity project? Okay, I'm going off on a tangent then. I will say one thing about the biodiversity project, and it's something that Breckland has done, and it opens a door. If you, as a council, if you adopt a green pledge, net zero, carbon neutral, biodiversity, and all the rest of it, it's all very good and it's all very tickable for the planet. But what it is then doing is it's opening the door for solar farms and everything else from central government to be pushed in. And the reason you can't say no is because you've adopted that green agenda. So it is, as much as I agree with it, on the other hand, we wouldn't in Breckland have this problem with the solar panels on all the farms in the area and the complete raping of our breadbasket if they hadn't adopted the green agenda. So you open the door, that's what you get. So you have to be very careful and cross that and walk that line in a very diplomatic way. So that's all I'm going to say. Just be careful what you wish for, because it could be held, you could be held to account when it comes to it further up the food chain, when somebody comes along on a new unitary council and say, well, you adopted a biodiversity project, you've now got to have solar panels on all your car parks. That I don't know. When I saw that, I just thought,
Can I?
I was just saying, we adopted the biodiversity policy as a council in January 2024. This is what we adopted in the pack at that
how
time.
long does it last?
We can amend that. It's very much something we have to consider, biodiversity. We can amend that. We've never actually completed the biodiversity action plan. So again, it's something you can carry on or change.
Don, did you want to say?
Well, first of all, we did adopt the policy a year ago, or more than a year ago, and as Thomas put it forward, and we've discussed, we're going to discuss it at finance about how much if we agree tonight, sort of thing. But it's about small scale things in the town. I don't think that large scale solar farm developers are going to all of a sudden come along and say, because we planted some bulbs up Church Walk as part of our biodiversity,
From little
then
acorns,
it's gonna
mighty
make
oaks grow.
that it's going to make any difference, sort of thing. They're the kind of things we're talking about, if I'm right. So I'll pass over to Thomas anyway.
Yeah, so there's a few different ways you can interpret this, but I interpret it as the town council does have a statutory obligation to maintain biodiversity, which means that the council should be making at least some effort. And from what I've seen, it's been very little over the past year. It is something that we agreed upon, so if we feel like it should change, we should change it. So if anyone has any propositions on how to change it, if they want to, they should put that forward. But at the end of the day, we're considering financing some of this stuff. A lot of that will have to go to Finance Committee and be considered potentially for next year. In terms of what sort of projects we can be looking at, building deadwood fences, completely free. Taking some bird cherry wood from Norfolk Wildlife Trust and building some bug houses, bird houses, whatever, that's completely free. So we're not looking at large scale things. And in terms of solar farms, we can definitely add something to say that we don't want any large scale solar farms and what that can be done.
The only thing I'll say, we have got the offer from the prison, haven't we, Jane, for bird boxes and things like that. And we do an awful lot within the town of planting bulbs and planters and butterfly encouragement, and we do lots of things without realising and calling it a label. We just do it because it's a nice thing to do. Yes, Graham. Then Sam.
Yeah, I'm actually not aware of any plan of this biodiversity. But reading through the bits and pieces here, giving people a seed bomb, right, so they can put it in the edge of their garden and things like that, it's not going to cost a fortune, right? But the thing is, when is this going to be implemented, right? Because, if you give someone something, they go, well, you can't plant it this year. Oh, you missed the boat. It should have been planted like 3 months ago. So we need to get this organised properly if we're going to do it. And I think we should do it, even if it's on a very small scale. Little bits and pieces here and there, it's going to make a lot of difference.
Thank you, Graham. Stan and Jack.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. You'll be pleased to know. I hear what everyone's saying, and I do have trouble with policies like this, because if you put your name to it and you don't adhere to it, then you're letting down, you're leaving yourself open. And to paraphrase what you said just now, you've got to be careful what you wish for. I don't see this as a problem. I think we should turn this into an opportunity. We've said ourselves we'll review this in January next year. So let's review it, let's withdraw it and rebuild it, but in something that is achievable and affordable and realistic, so that we're not promising the community the moon on a stick. We're not getting questions thrown at us, why are you wasting our council tax money on this? The seed bomb idea, I think, is absolutely wonderful. Seeds cost virtually nothing. You could encourage kids to do it as a school project or as a competition. You could encourage older people who are otherwise on their own to get involved. There's an abundance of opportunities that we could jump on here. So my observations on this, Madam Chair, is that we do review this, but we come to the table with fresh ideas and look how we can, what's the word I'm looking for here, damage limit this, and just make it something that's achievable. And if we can achieve more, we can come back and build on it. Thank you.
Jack and Sue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I totally agree. There's always scope for biodiversity, but I feel that this gives us a good time now to try and get the local community involved and see how they feel that they could benefit. It costs nothing to ask people online, but you could do things like Watton in Bloom with the seed bombs, give people on the high street a window basket to hang out from their windows above, greatly improve the high street as well. Equally, the women's group could help with social isolation. I feel that you could get the community involved, and I feel that reviewing this would be a great idea.
Okay. So,
Yeah, with this thing, Lauren has been looking at a wildflower area for Heritage Park. Now, because that's now given over to us in full, if we're going to look at diversity in there, then I think that's a good place for us to start, as well as perhaps at the market, Christmas market, whether we have on our stall the seeds that are available and people can take free. That would be a cheaper way than going around and putting them in people's letterboxes. But it's just a thought. I know Lauren has been looking into the biodiversity for Heritage Park.
okay, thank you. Graham.
Yeah, I don't think it's a brilliant idea at the moment about Heritage Park, because whatever we do, once we got complete use of it, we're going to redesign it. So whatever we do now could be scrapped. Right? But I'm talking about little tiny things, like asking the kids to grow a sunflower. Right? And if they get a prize for someone who's grown one 18-foot, everyone can get involved. The parents will tell them how to do it and all the rest of it. And it spreads bit by bit. Right? But I personally want to know what sort of budget we got and how we are going to get other people involved. Right?
That is actually a question I was next going to ask. How much is this looking at to be available for the project? And what is it being provided? What are you getting for your money?
Jane and I had a meeting on Friday, a finance meeting, about looking at all the different the budget, and we were proposing for this year, which can then be built on, but putting in £200 for the biodiversity. So we're not talking about loads and loads of money, and then if that takes off, and it proves a success, then we can put more monies in future years. And picking up on what Sue said about things, the co-op actually give out free seeds, which as a town council we can apply for, that are good for bees and things like that. So we could have those on our stall at different events and things as well. So
Big grant funding.
yeah.
You could fit this into some funding that's out there, I think, depending on what we do.
So initially we're just talking about a couple of £100.
So the bottom line then is your proposal is for £200 to go into this year, and then is it for this year's budget or for next year's budget? Right, for next year's budget. We've already done it now, spent it. We can't. The budget, Graham, the budget has already been set. No, Graham, the budget has already been done. We're already nearly through the year. We're now looking at setting the budget for next year. So that's what we're trying to decide now, whether we let the finance committee go away and ask for £200 to put in that budget for biodiversity, which ultimately could buy £200 worth of seeds, for instance, to put on the tables at our things. But it would then and we can then, pardon the pun, but we can grow it from there.
So we've got no budget for this year?
No.
None at all?
No.
Oh, right, okay, well, no, because I asked Jane for some money, and I bought some more tulips, to go down Church Street.
Graham, it doesn't work.
No, what I'm saying is, then I will actually buy them out of my own pocket, and
You look at the budget and the breakdown, there's different codes basically that there is money that we can take and use for small projects like this, whether it's grounds maintenance sort of funding. There's areas in the budget that we can take little pots of money from, but there's nothing been specifically put in the budget this year, biodiversity, whereas next year we can put £200 in possibly for that specifically. Does that make sense?
Can we have a proposal, please, for this and a seconder? But for next year. And as with what Stan said, are you happy to add on to that, Stan, that we will be looking at that in the new year anyway, because it's up for renewal, so we can then say what sort of things are going to be used for the biodiversity?
Yes, Madam Chair, if I could just add one word to Don's proposal, an inaugural amount, then we can build on it if we need to. But yes, I'd be quite happy to propose that we do give it a thorough review in the new year, perhaps before the review date, perhaps one of the first things on the agenda into the new year. And we ask all councillors, that's all councillors, even those that don't sit on any committees, to start scratching their heads and come up with ideas. And there's lots of simple things that can be done that won't cost a penny and will in fact save the council money. All I'll say to you is, don't trim the borders, leave them for the butterflies and the bees. You're not paying staff, you're leaving it shabby around the edge, but the public have got an explanation as to why.
Are we happy for that to be, are you happy for that to be an amendment to your proposal? Yeah. Well, dumbed down, obviously. Do we have a seconder for that proposal with the amendment? Are you seconding it? Yep, okay. All in favour of that? Cool, got there in the end. To accept the proposal from Trevor Brown, re 25-26 internal audit. Over to you, Jane.
Purely, I mean, we have to have an internal audit. We have had Trevor Brown the last 2 years, I think now. If everybody's happy, I think we did say earlier in the year we would go ahead and use Trevor again next year, or this year, for the audit this year. And he's just sent his spec through, I guess, his proposal and what he will be doing. If people are happy to accept that.
Are we happy? Yeah, all in favour then? Yeah, cool. Planning. To consult on planning applications received since the last meeting. We've got, oh, sorry if I missed one. Sorry, to receive play area inspection reports for Bridle Road, Sports Centre and Lovell Gardens play areas, Appendix 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, over to you,
We
Jane.
got these arrived when I was on holiday, and actually when I got back it was, oh my goodness, look what we've got. There's all these things that need doing at the play areas. If it's looked at and broken down, yes, there are things that need doing. We have gone back to Wicksteeds to ask for some quotes, but a lot of the work RTOs have done and can do more. The suggestion is we get the basic work done if we can, and then possibly go out for a second opinion, because the roster inspections received were very much in detail this time. So it would be good to sort of do what we can and get that checked. There are 1 or 2 pieces of equipment that may want to be replaced, and a lot of the wood around the road is getting past its sell-by date. So it is something we've got to really keep an eye on and decide whether we take it out, whether we replace it, or what's the sort of plans for the future, really.
In other words, it was a bit of a job's worth, as in overkill. We've been out and had a look, and it was a little bit over the top on what they've said. Yeah, Don.
I have had a look at 1 or 2 of the cases, but I did have a look at the reports, and I do feel that it's taken it to the nth degree, but to cover ourselves, we can either dismiss it or do lots of work which will cost lots and lots of money. But I feel if we spend £300, say, we can have another inspection, and that from a different company, and just compare the two, and then I think it will just give us a much better idea of what we need to do.
I think that would cover our backs as well,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
use what we can, do what we can, because I think Tony was talking about doing a lot of the painting and stuff. Yeah. Jack.
The recommendations are to do with low risk that has been identified. 1 or 2 high risk items have been taken out, taped off, although it is difficult to keep the kids off one particular wooden structure bridle. But we've checked out, and those of us who've done the play inspection, would you condemn it at the moment? Possibly not on what we've been taught, but the guy has, so we do need to take that on board.
Can we put a proposal through to get a second opinion on?
But that's what we were going to suggest, is that we do some of the work in-house, like the painting and stuff that the town operatives have said that they are happy to do, and then get a second opinion on what's left. So, Stan?
Thanks, Madam Chair. I just want to say, and again, using the be careful what you wish for, if we go for a second opinion, you always run the risk that they might find more problems. They're not.
Send you down. Graham?
Could what you said, Stan, well, I just picked up on about leaving the verges. If we do that, what sort of money will we be saving by not employing people to do that through the year?
Graham, we're on a different item now. We can't go back and talk about the previous item. We're moving on now. This is a conversation you can have afterwards. Yeah, on his way to trim his edges. So is that, I've lost my train of thought now, Graham. Yeah.
I can ask Jane, sorry. Did you do the bystander training? Did you go on the website? And was it beneficial? Oh.
So, Don. After we've painted them or before?
Painting, we'll look at getting a youth justice team involved, so that's not something that is that high on the list to do. I think the other sort of tightening the nuts and altering the gates and the little bits and pieces like that, TOs have done or will do. And then I think if we do get a second opinion, there will be a lot of stuff that hopefully has been done. If Wixie come back with quotes for some of the work, we'll be in a position then to know we ought to go ahead or can afford to go ahead with that. And it might take a month or two to get that second opinion anyway. If we can just say, yes, we'll go ahead and...
Do I have a seconder then for Don's proposal? Jack? All in favour? Yeah, thank you. Right, number 13, planning. Number 13.1, PL 2025/1333FMIN. Proposed conversion and change of use of garage to form one new dwelling at number 37 Harvey Street, Watton. We all had a look at that. No. Any comments? No? Well, did it not come up at all? It's not coming up very well, is it? It does. Planning portal's really bad. Yeah. I have terrible. It might actually be better to have it as a dwelling than a garage. In all honesty, it might tidy it up, wherever it is. Would you like that to be a comment? Would you like us to go back and get more information, or? Yeah. Are we all happy with that? We asked for more comments. On, yeah. Are you happy with that, Jane?
We have had another come, I don't know if that's been sent round, can't remember now. It's Watton Junior School who are proposing a single story extension. And often that is more for us just to acknowledge we've seen that rather than pass any comments unless you've got anything particularly noted that you want noted, really.
Can we comment on that now? Or?
If anyone has got any comments, then yeah,
I don't think we can really on that. It's already been decided. Graham?
Yeah, I drove down Harvey Street to have a look. But if we're going to make comments about any planning, surely we should view it if it's in the town. You know, I mean,
it's helpful.
It's just like paperwork at the moment. We're just going, oh, yeah, that seems all right. And we haven't got a clue. But surely there should be some protocol where we sort of say, well, oh, no, you can't put two-story building on top of that. That's going to look ridiculous.
Well, that's why Jane's going to ask for more information on it and,
Yeah.
and then have a look. Are we all happy? Yep. Right. Meeting closed. Thank you, everyone. Tina.